Welcome back. It's 10 minutes before 8 o'clock. Now, despite the Eastern Cape managing to improve marginally on its overall Matric pass rate, the Port Elizabeth district once again took a tumbling, dropping more than 10 percentage points in just 2 years. Now, the Eastern Cape is faced with a number of challenges such as overcrowding, the shortage of teachers in specialist positions, textbooks delivery problems and an infrastructure backlog. Last year, parents took the struggle to the streets, and in some areas, like the northern areas, schooling was disrupted for up to 4 weeks. A lack of teachers and overcrowding were the main gripes. Our reporter Lerato Thipa is in Port Elizabeth to give us more on the readiness of schools on the first day. A very good morning to you, Lerato. What's the situation over there in Port Elizabeth?
Well, a very good morning. We are broadcasting outside the Algoa College, where members of the National Committee of Portfolio are meeting to try and find solutions to the Eastern Cape Department of Education problems. It's the first day of school, and already some schools in the Eastern Cape are faced with issues of overcrowding, shortage of teachers and also infrastructure backlog. But joining me this morning is the MEC of Education in the Eastern Cape, Mr. Mandla Makhuphula, to tell us briefly exactly what solutions are in place to solve the ongoing challenges in the Eastern Cape. Mr. Makhuphula, take us briefly. The Eastern Cape, first of all, achieved the lowest pass rate again in 2016, and this seems to be a recurring problem. What solutions are in place to try and fix the problems, and where are you going to start?
Greetings to the South African listeners and viewers. On behalf of the Department of Education, I just want to extend my gratitude to the class of 2016, which did us proud. Firstly, in the Eastern Cape, there were 82,657 learners that wrote Matric, and 49,042 of them passed. The second thing to highlight is that we had one of the cleanest exams going back to the tradition of the Eastern Cape of more than 20 years, except the group copying that took place in 2014. The second thing that I would love to bring to your attention are matters of quality, which often get elided by media institutions. The first one is that in the national awards, where the minister was awarding the best children in the country, 2 of our girl learners in the Eastern Cape were part of that. Annelisa Mahwanqana from Mariazell was number 2 in Quintile 1 schools, and Sipokazi Tlalukazi was coming from Holy Cross, who became number 2 in Quintile 3 schools. Coming to the bachelor passes, in the Eastern Cape, we increased our bachelor passes. These are children who are eligible to go to university, from 15,291 to 15,654, an increment of 363. We are number 5 in the country in giving the country its bachelors. The same thing with diplomas. We are number 4, the 4th province in the country to produce bachelors for the whole country. The next point to highlight is that of our 23 districts, 3 of our districts did above the national average. This is Cradock standing at 81.2%, followed by Uitenhage standing at 76.3%, and followed by Graafrenet standing at 76%. We have decreased the number of schools that pass below 50% by 57, from 405 to 348. We have increased the number of schools that pass between 60 and 70, ranging from 86 to 121. We've also increased the number of schools that pass at 100, from 37 to 44. This is the kind of information that is not usually shared by the media to our people in South Africa. Yes, we are ranked number last, but if you listen in terms of quality, we are contributing qualitatively in the results of the country.
Now, MEC, there also is a problem of teacher backlog. A few days ago, we spoke to a principal from Arcadia Primary who said that the entire of 2016, they spent the year with 8 vacancies, which still have not been filled. So the issue of teacher shortage is ongoing and doesn't seem to come to a solution. Are there plans to try and rectify this challenge, and are there time frames to solve that?
In fact, let me tell you that in 2016, that's one of the years that we appointed a lot of educators. We issued 4 bulletins that totaled 2,272 educators, on top of the normal declaration that an MEC does every September of a preceding year. Obviously, I must acknowledge that the challenge that we have is especially around these subjects that are called scarce skills, your maths, science and accounting. especially in the rural areas, with many educators reluctant to go to the rural areas. But we've introduced the rural allowance as an incentive to attract the educators to the rural areas, because children in the rural areas are also South African learners. They deserve quality education. I'm confident that this year we've also issued another bulletin. There's a bulletin in circulation as I'm speaking with you. That one is more internal for the movement of an additional educator. Makupula, you must move from school A because your requirement, your skills now are required in school B. So I'm saying, much as there are these challenges, but we're doing our level best. And I'm confident that beginning this year we'll be overcoming this problem, especially after having agreed with teacher unions that we all have to work together to ensure that we address this challenge.
Textbook delivery is also a problem here. Textbooks being delivered late to schools as well. There are still schools 2017 that still don't have textbooks as well. Working with textbooks from as back as 2008, which is actually quite worrying. Are there plans to also speed up delivery of textbook, and where is the problem going wrong in the delivery of textbooks?
Well, whilst I contest at some stage your information, but that's not the matter for today. What I can tell you is that this year we are topping up textbooks. Let me say stationery is already at schools as I'm speaking with you. By November, all schools have received their stationery. Textbooks, what we are doing, remember, a textbook's lifespan is 3 years. The last time we issued textbooks was in 2015. Now, all we are asking is that principals of schools and schools have got retrieval policies where you say children have finished writing, bring back the books. That's the first question to ask each school. How many books have you retrieved? Because all we are doing now is to top up, and I can tell you that by now, I've visited some of the districts. The schools, the textbooks are being delivered starting from yesterday. The top up textbooks. Otherwise, the next round to buy textbook for everybody will be next academic year, which is 2018. Otherwise, I can safely say we don't have a challenge of textbooks. Other than that, we're topping up. And the fact that in other schools, they will always be saying we want different titles when there are titles of the previous year. And information is information, whether it's coming from a different book or not. But of course, we're sticking and complying to prescribed books.
Well, that's the MEC of the Department of Education, Mr. Mandla Makupula, saying despite the challenges facing the Eastern Cape, there is a glitter of hope, planning that this year they're going to improve the situation of teacher shortage and also make sure that they introduce conducive working environments for pupils. Let's take a break and join us later as we speak to the members of the northern areas and find out exactly where the solutions based retrieved in that area. It's back to you in studio.